Welcome to the 2023-24 school year for Acton Academy, our second year in the making, and we're so glad that you're a part of the families here. We're so glad you're part of our school, and we cannot wait to see what this year brings. We are a non-traditional learning environment, but I like to re-emphasize kind of what we do and how we do to kind of cover some lingering questions and to make sure that you are confident that you are in the right place for your learner and for you as a family. Because when we all are on the same journey, working towards the same goals, it can go so smoothly, like our first year did. It was such a blessing. Everything was smooth sailing because everybody was on the same page. So I would like you to just kind of listen as I talk over our main points. And if there's anything that you're concerned about, confused about, or need more clarification on, or something you and your family just need to think on and pray on, please do so before our school year kicks off, and make sure that we chat about it so we can all have a good, fresh start to our school year. We base ourselves off of the hero's journey. So that's something that your learner will be introduced to at the beginning of the year. We'll talk about the journey map. We'll learn about it. We'll re-emphasize it throughout the year. And it's really focused on getting back up when you fail, using your resources, your allies, your mentors, and knowing that you have an end goal in mind. We are Christ-centered at this Acton. That is something that makes us different from most Actons. We have Jesus as a part of our day, every day, all day. Make sure that you're comfortable with that. You don't have to be of Christian religion to be at our school, but you do have to know that is a big part of our day. We start our mornings with prayer, worship music. We have weekly Bible classes. We pray over each other. We do a lot of involvement or volunteering throughout the year, with the basis being that we're working for Christ with a Christ-like spirit. We are learner-driven. What does that mean exactly? That means that we are Montessori inspired. We are not a Montessori school, but we do place value on the learners being in charge of their own education. That doesn't mean that we just sit in the corner and let them do, but it does mean that we are trusting them. I think that's the biggest thing in the Acton Academy Network is trust the children. You have to know that they are, every child we believe is a genius. They are on their own unique path. We do have to believe in them, guide them, mentor them, but trust them in their own individual uniqueness and passions. And we're here to help them through that. But number one is trust. We are not following a curriculum checklist. And this is something I wrote down. We do not check off standards based on the age of a child. So that's, I think, what number one makes us very non-traditional. We do not compare. So there is no checklist saying if you're this age, you're supposed to be doing this. Or based on what your peers are doing, you should be doing this. That just doesn't exist here. You can, if you want to think about it in terms of grade levels, you can see kind of where an average person might be academically, but our students here might be behind that on their journey. They might be very far surpassing that on their journey. Either one is 100% okay with us. We are here to guide them in their own timeline and trust that they're learning. We don't have to prove it on a test. We don't have to prove it on a piece of paper. That's just not what we believe in here. We believe every child is a genius and that our learners set their own goals. We talk about goal setting and goal charts and weekly focuses all year long, and they learn what a goal is and the importance of it and what it means to meet it, or to make sure you're doing what you need to be able to meet it next. And they reach their goals when they're ready. We just trust them to follow their path. And when you do enable that trust and let go and give it to them, it's really amazing what happens. It might not be in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 3 years, but when you see that growth, it's a beautiful thing. Speaking of learning, we believe you learn by doing. So instead of listening, you do. So here there is a lot of hands-on problem solving, peer work, collaboration, teamwork, getting yourself in with your own hands. Socratic learning is another Acton philosophy where you answer questions with questions to entice the learners to know that they can find their own answers, they can use resources, they can use their environment and their peers to discover an answer before just coming to the adult in the room. Like I mentioned, we have no homework or testing. We will have a beginning of the year and end of the year assessment. We check it kind of mid-year around December just to kind of see our progress from guide to parent, but it's nothing to do with the child thinking that they're at this level or they're at this level or I passed or I failed. They know they are completely on their own journey, earning their badges on their own timeline and working towards their goals. So the assessments are just for us to see where they started, where they're growing, and what they need to work on next. We are just very focused on life skills and real world skills here. All of the ages, but especially as they get older. We will not be focusing on a lot of academic standards. I just want to make that clear. Yes, if the route that they want to take is college or a degree or something that they know that is their goal, of course we will guide and mentor and foster that in their older years. But we also believe that there's so many things that are way more important to learning than the traditional academic standards that most American schools are now doing. We believe that's the way of the future, and that's the route that we are focusing on here at Acton. We do have the 2 studios this year. The Spark Studio is your studio if your child is 5 or 6. There could be 7-year-olds in there if we've had that conversation that they just really need more time to be a real confident reader. Otherwise, they're in the Discovery Studio, and this year that is ages 7 to 10. We do have a couple 11-year-old part-time friends in there that have just been with us throughout this year, but it's 7 to 10. And that studio is full. It is on a wait list. Our Spark Studio only has a couple spots left as well. So we're very excited to be jam-packed next year. We're thrilled. And speaking of, if I haven't already chatted with you about it, we are in plans of building our own academy back behind our playground right now. In the parent info pack, I included a who's who for this new school year, just in case you weren't sure who the other guides were, who your child's teacher or guide was going to be. I included a little bit of a little bio in there for both of our main guides next year, as well as our Bible teacher. So I will kind of be floating between both classrooms and also serving as the director, communicator, marketer, head of school, all of those things, and be able to really focus on that and have a designated guide for your children. So for the Spark Studio, it's Miss Samantha, who's been with us this year. And then next year we have Miss Brandy joining us as the main guide for the Discovery learners. So you can read a little bit about them. Miss Melanie is our Bible teacher. She's been with us all year. Kids love her. She's so much fun. She'll remain coming in weekly. But the only difference is our art teacher, Miss Carrie. She actually owns her own art studio downtown called Coastal Makers. And because we're off on Wednesdays, we've worked it out to where we will actually go to her once a month for an art day at her studio where she has all of her resources downtown. And I'm really excited about that too, because that will give us a chance, if you're available or able to come, those are optional. But if you're able to come, we can kind of drop them off and have like a mom or parent coffee chat and kind of connect and communicate and plan all of those things during that time. So I think that'll work out really well. Speaking of Wednesdays, be sure to check the parent info pack because there's already some designated dates that we're going to do things on Wednesdays. Remember, Wednesdays are optional. We're not in school on Wednesday. You have the option of attending an event, a meetup, an outreach, whatever we might be doing on a Wednesday throughout the school year. You're welcome to come and join us. Now, I have said to parents, hey, if you're working or doing something or unable to come, but you wanted your child to attend, reach out to me. It's likely that I or another parent could scoop them up if it's something that they really wanted to be a part of. Books. Just a reminder, if you have not yet read the Acton book, Courage to Grow, that is a must to attend the school. You must read the book, Courage to Grow, by our original founder, Laura Sandifer. It answers and fills you in on so many things that you need to know before committing to the Acton environment. So if you don't have a copy of that, or if you haven't read it, please reach out. I'm happy to let you borrow one. I also am collecting a parent library stack of books that just go along with what we are believing in and valuing for our children. And it's got a bunch of good titles in there that I'm working out for you guys next year. So at drop off, if you ever want to grab a book from the parent library section, feel free. There's going to be lots of good ones in there. Up next, communication. We do have a private family Facebook page. It's called AAM Families. If you're not in that yet, please join. That's not our main source of communication. Anything I put on there in terms of a reminder or an update, I will email as well. But that's just a good page. We share weekly photos. You can kind of connect and share birthday information or questions to the group on that page. It's a good resource for us to have. But our main method of communication next year will be through the app Remind. So be sure that you download the app. I do believe you don't actually have to download the app to be able to participate, but you can text. If your child is in the Discovery Studio, so the older group, you can text at DISC Studio to 81010. If you are in the Spark Studio, you can text at AAM Sparks to 81010, and that will help you join your group. That will be our main source of communication. If you need to reach out to your learner's guide about something that is pertinent, you can use the Remind app. We will text all weather updates or important school reminders through the app. We may share a few pictures through the app, but that will be our main source of communication with parents. If it's not something that's pertinent, feel free to email me. If it's something about pickup or drop off or something that needs quick response, you can use the Remind app. In terms of the fun logistical items on the list, tuition is broken up on an 11-month split plan, starting August 1st through June of next year. Your options are either to have the split 11-month plan, or if you choose to pay in full by August 1st, you will receive 10% off of your tuition total. We do also have the fees. If you're already registered, you've paid the $100 registration fee. We also have the $150 supply fee that's due upon the start of school. You will not have to bring in any supplies. There will not be a supply list where you have to bring crayons, markers, paper, tissue, all of that. Your supply fee covers their supplies for the entire year. And there's also a technology fee. That's $150 as well. That covers any e-learning platforms, programs, subscriptions that we have for the children to use during their tech time. And speaking of, if you are in the Discovery Studio, this year we do have a requirement to BYOD, bring your own device. So for Discovery students, that means that no iPad, no iPhone, no tablet. An actual laptop that they can use in the Discovery Studio will be required. If you are unable to provide your child a laptop, please reach out to me. We do have a few extras that I would be happy to let them use for the year. But just because of the amount that we will use them, we'll learn how to make PowerPoints and slides and connect on Google Drive and all of those things. That's where all of their assignments and goal charts and everything will be on there. So they really do need one, especially for my part-time friends that will be going back and forth. The laptop will be going home and to school with them. So I highly encourage headphones and a case to go along with that. Now, it does not have to be any type of fancy laptop. No Macs, please. That does not go with the programs that we're using. Please, only a Windows computer. You are, of course, welcome to invest in any type of computer you choose for your learner, especially, they'll be using it for years and years going forward. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But there's also these little Chromebooks. I got some from Target for less than $100 last year. These are Google Chrome books, the Acer brand. So it doesn't have to be something that you spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on. It can just be a small Chromebook if you'd like. But if you want to invest in something, of course, I won't discourage you from that because we will be using it a lot of the time. Going back to tuition, your invoice will always come from QuickBooks. That way you can keep track and have your receipts from every monthly payment that you make. If you do not receive those, let me know. Tuition can be paid through cash, check, money order, or electronically through Venmo. That's our only electronic option right now, but it does have fees associated with it. So if you prefer the ease and convenience of using Venmo, please be sure to refer to the email where it shows you the fees associated with your monthly payment. For arrival and departure, arrival is 8:20 to 8:30. After 8:30, we lock the doors and they are considered late. So we know things happen, traffic happens, but to be on time every time is a very important Acton motto as well. So please try your very hardest to have your learner here by 8:30 at the latest so that we can start our morning circles and our social emotional time and everything all together and not have to stop and go open and greet more students. So 8:20 to 8:30 is the drop off. Pickup in the afternoons is at 3:20. By 3:30, pickup is over. So please be sure to have picked up your learner by 3:30. We have that 10-minute pickup window, but the door will open for dismissal at 3:20. Like I said, please be on time. We know things happen, but out of the courtesy of our guides, please be sure to have your child picked up by 3:30. They will only be released to you or anyone else on your release form list. If someone different is going to be picking them up, make sure that they know and make sure that their guide is aware as well. Spark Studio learners will be dropped off at the front door where the big Acton Academy sign is. And our Discovery friends will be dropped off at the back door for their new Discovery entrance across from the playground. You can pull up and let them get out of your car and walk to the door. Just make sure you give us a wave that we see that, you make sure they made it through the door. Or if you want to get out and walk them up to the door, you're welcome to. But a quick drop, hug, goodbye is the easiest and most convenient way for them to be able to come in and start their day fresh. But as the year comes on, if you want to just let them out of the car and come up to the door safely, that is also a good way to drop them off. And in the afternoons, we will let them out one or two at a time and watch them walk to your car for safety purposes before we let out the next few. So you can just pull up and have your car door open, or they can open it. But if you're more comfortable getting out and putting them in their car, you can do that as well. In terms of sickness, our policy is honestly, if they're not burning up or throwing up, they are welcome to come. But please use your best parental judgment and think of how you would feel if you knew another student threw up that morning and then came to school, or had a fever all night and then came to school, or was hawking up a lung all night, but they were still sent to school. And then your child easily catches it, and then it just goes and goes and goes. We know the rolling effect of sick kiddos and how much we share and use up here. So please, I just ask that you be respectful of all of the other families if you do know that your learner is not feeling well or feeling their best. We ask that you keep them home until you know that they are able to return and participate and be a healthy part of the group. We will not administer any medication to children at all as the director or as the guides. So if something does happen or a learner has an accident, you will be notified via Remind or one of our uh-oh forms. If it's something more serious, we will of course notify you right away. But unless we have written permission or you and I have had a private conversation, we will not administer any type of medication. Uniform policy, We do not have uniforms. We are play clothes advocates. We'll get messy. We'll go outside a lot. Might get muddy, dirty, sweaty, paint, all of the things. So we just say put them in something comfortable, but remember that we do go outside multiple times a day. So if it is really hot, please have them in shorts. If it is really cold, please make sure that you send a jacket. And because of the amount of kiddos that we have next year, please make sure you write your name and anything that you want to make sure comes back home with you. To keep at school, every child, no matter the age, will need a change of clothes. And that's just in case of rainy day play, art messes, food messes, anything of the sort. So everyone will need a change of clothes in a Ziploc bag that we will keep here at school. And now for a little happy things to look forward to is the calendar. That is also part of your parent info pack. Be sure to look over that and see when our breaks are. We do have a different schedule from any of the other local schools. So thank you again. As always, let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'm praying for an abundantly joyful, peaceful school year for all involved, and I will chat with you soon.